The night settled softly over the vast expanse of the Sahara, a desert that seemed to stretch endlessly beneath a quiet, starlit sky. The air, cool against the warmth of the day's lingering sun, carried the gentle whisper of shifting sands, curling and folding like liquid gold across the landscape. Somewhere far in the distance, the outline of dunes rose and fell in gentle waves, their edges catching the faint shimmer of moonlight, and the desert seemed almost alive with a quiet, patient rhythm, moving in ways that only time itself could fully understand. In this tranquil silence, there was a sense of both stillness and motion, of a world ancient beyond measure, and yet immediate in its presence. The Sahara was not merely a place. It was a story told in sand and stone, a canvas painted by wind and time, holding secrets that had waited for countless generations to be noticed. Each grain of sand was a memory, each ripple a whisper from centuries long past, and as the desert stretched beneath the stars, it invited any wandering soul to pause, to listen, and to wonder. Among these whispers of wind and shifting earth, there existed a formation that had drawn the attention of many curious minds, subtle yet remarkable, vast yet intimate. It was a circle, so perfectly concentric that from above it seemed almost like a deliberate design, a natural masterpiece etched across the heart of the land. This was the Eye of Africa, a structure so grand that it could be mistaken for the work of human hands. There was a calmness here that invited reflection. One could imagine standing upon a ridge of sand, feeling the cool night air brush across the face, and looking up at the stars scattered across the velvet sky. Each constellation seemed to shimmer with familiarity, yet whispered of mysteries yet to be understood. It was easy, in such a place, to feel a connection to the larger universe, to realize that the desert and the sky, the earth and the cosmos, were part of an intricate, endless conversation, one in which humanity had been listening, sometimes quietly, sometimes with great curiosity, throughout the ages. And within this quiet, immense space, the Eye of Africa rested, like a hidden doorway to the past, inviting gentle curiosity without demanding answers. Its concentric ridges and broad, circular valleys seemed to pulse subtly with the memory of the land. There was a suggestion that beneath the sands and stones, hidden histories lay waiting forgotten cities, traces of ancient life, or perhaps something older still. One could imagine the soft shadows of buildings, long eroded by wind and time, or faint paths winding across the dunes, telling stories in silence. The desert did not hurry, and neither did it reveal its secrets at once. Instead, it offered an invitation, a slow, deliberate unfolding, an experience to be savored and felt rather than solved. As the night wore on, the quiet majesty of the Sahara seemed to extend into the mind itself. Thoughts slowed, and the steady, rhythmic pulse of the desert's life mirrored a gentle, unhurried heartbeat. Curiosity mingled with serenity, and the Eye of Africa appeared as both a mystery and a friend, a place to explore softly with the imagination, to wander through without concern or fear, and to rest within the vastness of time and space. There was a rhythm to the sands, a lullaby in the desert wind, and in that rhythm one could almost drift along the curves of history itself, moving gently toward dreams shaped by the slow passage of ages. In this way, the Sahara invited not just observation, but quiet meditation, a gentle, drifting journey that carried the mind across dunes and ridges, beneath starlit skies, and toward the hidden heart of the Eye of Africa. It promised nothing abrupt or alarming, only a serene sense of discovery, of lingering in the presence of something ancient and extraordinary. And as the warm night air whispered softly, the desert seemed to murmur a single thought over and over, that beneath the sands, and beyond the stars above, there were stories waiting patiently, waiting for those who could listen with quiet hearts and open minds. So as you settle deeper into the comfort of your own space, imagine the Sahara stretching endlessly before you, soft winds brushing against the skin, dunes rising and falling like gentle waves, and the Eye of Africa resting silently, quietly holding its secrets. Let the quiet wonder of this desert night draw you inward, slow your thoughts, and carry you softly into curiosity, into reflection, and into the gentle, immersive story that begins here, beneath the vast, whispering sands of one of the world's most extraordinary landscapes. Travelers who crossed the dunes often spoke of stories carried on the wind, tales told in the quiet rhythm of shifting grains, as if the desert itself were narrating its own history. The desert became a storyteller, its voice slow, steady, and unhurried, encouraging those who listened to drift along the edges of imagination. Others described ancient travelers, wise and patient, who walked the desert under the stars, carrying knowledge and stories across vast distances, leaving behind only footprints that the wind would eventually erase. These stories were not meant to frighten, but to inspire wonder, to remind listeners of a world larger and older than themselves. There were whispers of paths that crossed the land in circular designs, reminiscent of patterns seen in the sky above, suggesting a knowledge of geometry and harmony that reached beyond mere survival, beyond the ordinary rhythms of desert life. It was said that in the quiet of night, under the shimmer of countless stars, one could almost see the echo of vanished civilizations. And in this reflection there emerged the earliest hints of the Eye of Africa, silent, concentric formation resting patiently beneath the sun and stars, holding its secrets, waiting for the quiet observer to notice, to imagine, and to wonder. The eye was vast, so wide that a single glance could not contain it. Its ridges rose and fell in delicate arcs, not sharp or harsh, but smooth and flowing, shaped over eons by the subtle, patient forces of erosion and the quiet movements of the Earth's crust. From these gentle heights, the circles seemed to stretch endlessly, echoing outward in subtle repetition, each curve inviting calm reflection. It was a place not meant for rush or noise, but for slow observation, for drifting thought, and for the quiet wonder that comes from contemplating something both immense and perfectly formed. The colors of the eye were as varied as the textures, a muted symphony of desert hues. Pale yellows merged into rich golds, deep reds softened into muted browns, and hints of gray and ivory traced the edges of the ridges. Each detail invited attention without demanding it, a gentle encouragement to explore with the mind, to let curiosity wander slowly and freely. It was a place where the imagination could drift, unhurried, across geological history, sensing the rhythms of the earth without needing to name or measure them. Scattered rocks and small shrubs punctuated the endless sands, each casting delicate shadows that shifted as the sun rose higher. The air itself seemed to hum with stillness, carrying the faint scent of warm earth and the distant memory of rain, rare though it was, hidden deep beneath the sun-baked soil. Birds, few and far between, traced slow arcs across the horizon, their movements a soft punctuation in an otherwise hushed world. Imagining a journey into the eye, one could drift along the inner circles, noticing subtle variations in texture and color, the way light caught each ridge differently as the sun moved across the sky. Here, the desert felt ancient in a tangible way, as if the land itself remembered ages long before humans walked its surface. Perhaps a traveler from centuries past had paused at the same ridges, or an unseen hand had traced patterns into the soft stone, leaving echoes that only the patient desert could preserve. Every curve, every shadow, and every ripple of sand seemed to carry the quiet memory of creation itself. There was also a sense of mystery in the eye's perfection, a feeling that beneath its beauty lay hidden stories waiting for the patient observer to imagine. Perhaps, beneath the soft sands of the inner circles, remnants of ancient life rested, traces of civilizations long gone, or symbols of knowledge forgotten. The desert did not reveal these secrets outright. Instead, it allowed the mind to wander slowly through possibility, to drift through imagination without urgency, and to explore mysteries with gentle curiosity rather than expectation. As the day progressed, the sun cast a soft, warm glow across the desert, accentuating the ridges of the eye and painting the surrounding sands in muted golds and pale amber. The formation seemed almost alive under this light, each circle breathing subtly with the wind, each hollow holding the quiet history of the land. The longer one gazed, whether in imagination or observation, the deeper the sense of calm grew, a serene rhythm that echoed the slow unfolding of time itself. Evening brought a soft transformation as shadows lengthened and the ridges of the eye took on gentle, cool tones. The colors shifted from warm golds to muted grays and dusky purples, blending seamlessly with the deepening sky above. Stars began to twinkle faintly in the vast expanse, and the desert's whispers seemed to grow softer, more intimate, as if the land were preparing for the night's quiet meditation. And in that calm, the eye of Africa rested like a silent observer, a timeless formation holding secrets of the earth, the universe, and the possibilities of lost histories, inviting the mind to wander, explore, and rest within its gentle embrace. The eye of Africa, in its quiet grandeur, became more than a formation of stone and sand. It was a meditation, a mirror for reflection, a soft invitation to drift into the imagination, to move through time and space at the unhurried pace of the desert itself. Every curve, every shadow, every subtle ridge became a lullaby of shapes and textures, guiding the mind into calm wonder, and preparing it to drift slowly, effortlessly, across the sands beneath, the endless sky and into the mysteries yet to be discovered. Beneath the golden waves of the Sahara, hidden from view by the patient sweep of wind and time, there may lie traces of lives long forgotten. The desert's surface appears empty, calm, unbroken, but imagination allows us to wander deeper, to sense patterns where the eye alone sees only sand. Perhaps just beneath the soft, warm dunes, there are remnants of ancient settlements, foundations of stone that once held homes, courtyards, Over time, these roads would have faded, their patterns softened by sand. Yet their essence remains in the subtle undulations of the dunes, detectable only to those who imagine carefully, or to the patient gaze of history itself. It is a landscape that requires quiet attention, a gentle imagination, and an openness to possibilities that do not need proof to be wondrous. Perhaps they were temples, gathering places, or markers of boundaries that have long since vanished into the desert's folds. In the soft morning light, shadows could trace the edges of these hidden forms, suggesting shapes that are at once familiar and mysterious. The desert encourages the mind to linger on these visions, to let thoughts drift along imagined streets and plazas. Ancient roads, too, may lie beneath the sands, hints of journeys made by people who moved steadily through the Sahara, carrying goods, knowledge, and stories from one oasis to another. Reflecting on the slow pulse of the earth and building their homes in harmony with the subtle rhythms around them. And the unspoken understanding between humans and their environment, all unfolding in the patient quiet of the desert. Exploring further, one can picture traces of irrigation or small channels, subtle shifts in the sand marking where water may have flowed, nourishing crops and sustaining communities long vanished. They speak of a world that was not harsh and barren, but carefully tended, known intimately by those who walked it daily. They could have been boundaries, guides for travelers, or symbols of belief, imbued with significance now lost to memory. In the mind's eye, these markers create a quiet rhythm, punctuating the endless expanse of desert with small gestures of intention, gently reminding the observer that even in solitude, human presence once touched every corner of this vast landscape. There may also be remnants of ritual spaces, soft clearings in the sand, where circles were drawn, stones arranged, or offerings placed, all whispering stories that cannot be fully understood, but that can be felt as gentle echoes of the past. The Eye of Africa itself may have served as a central point for these imagined settlements, a formation whose concentric ridges inspired the patterns of homes, roads, or gathering places. And deliberate, waiting to be observed through the patient lens of thought and reflection. In this way, the Sahara and the Eye of Africa invite a meditative exploration where the mind can drift freely across time, imagining lives intertwined with the rhythms of earth, sun, and sky. As night falls again over this imagined landscape, the desert glows faintly under starlight, each ridge and hollow softened by moonlight, each imagined settlement rendered tender and serene. The traces of forgotten civilizations rest quietly beneath the sands, each imagined settlement rendered tender and serene. The traces of forgotten civilizations rest quietly beneath the sands, not demanding discovery, but offering an invitation to wander gently with the mind, to explore slowly and softly, and to rest in the calm wonder of a land that has seen countless generations and yet still holds its secrets with patience and grace. In the gentle sweep of these thoughts, the imagination moves like a slow breeze across dunes and ridges, circling imagined homes, wandering along ancient roads, pausing at hidden markers, and resting in small clearings beneath the stars. It is a quiet journey, a meditative drift, a sleep-friendly exploration of history, imagined rather than revealed. And in this imagined, reflective journey, the Sahara whispers its timeless story, allowing the mind to float peacefully across the sands, lingering over the traces of lives once lived, and feeling the deep, calming rhythm of the desert's patient, enduring presence. As the sun sank gently toward the horizon, the desert underwent a quiet transformation. The heat of the day softened, leaving behind a gentle warmth that lingered in the sands, like the memory of sunlight pressed into every grain. Shadows lengthened and stretched across the dunes, creating patterns that shifted slowly with the fading light. In this subtle change, the Sahara seemed to exhale, drawing a slow, steady breath that echoed across its endless expanse, inviting any wandering soul to pause, to listen, and to feel the calm embrace of the evening. The air cooled softly, carrying with it the delicate scent of earth and sand, warmed by the day, yet gradually giving way to the crispness of night. A gentle breeze whispered across the dunes, tracing the curves of the land, swirling in quiet spirals, and rustling small tufts of resilient desert grasses. Each sound, soft and deliberate, became part of a serene symphony, the sigh of wind across ridges, the distant clatter of a shifting stone, the occasional flutter of a bird or insect settling for the night. It was a sight that inspired quiet awe, a reminder of the vastness of the universe, and of one's place within it, small yet attentive, witnessing the grandeur of both earth and sky. And almost imperceptible in the darkness, lay like a secret watchful in the heart of the land. Its concentric rings, softened by night, became gentle curves that guided the imagination, inviting quiet reflection. One could drift slowly along the imagined ridges, feeling the cool air brushing against the skin, tracing the contours of the land with a calm, meditative mind. Sounds of the desert at night carried a serene clarity. The wind, sometimes soft and whispering, sometimes a little stronger, yet still gentle, traced invisible paths across the dunes. Occasional small rocks shifted in response, their movement subtle and deliberate, adding to the rhythm of the night. Far off, a desert fox might pause, ears twitching, nose lifting to catch the scent of unseen life. Somewhere above, the faint rustle of wings marked the flight of an owl or night bird. Every sound was deliberate, never hurried, each contributing to the sense of timelessness that pervaded the desert after sunset. The sky above, deep and infinite, invited one to drift along the patterns of the Milky Way. Stars twinkled with a soft, calming pulse, their light ancient and steady, whispering stories across time and space. In this gentle darkness, one could imagine ancient travelers pausing under the same sky, tracing the same constellations, and feeling a connection between themselves, the desert, and the heavens. Perhaps those who lived here long ago looked up at the same stars, seeking guidance, wonder, or comfort, leaving traces of their lives in the faint impressions of paths, dwellings, and rituals hidden beneath the sand. The desert night held a unique quietude, different from the stillness of early morning or the muted sounds of twilight. It was a silence full of texture, of subtle rhythms, and of gentle presence. The Eye of Africa, nestled at the center of this expanse, seemed almost sentient, a calm observer resting beneath the starlit sky. Its ridges, now softened by darkness, invited imagination to wander slowly across imagined valleys, to trace circular paths, and to rest in the gentle contemplation of patterns that had existed far longer than human memory. Each imagined step, each mental journey along its curves, encouraged quiet reflection and meditative ease, As the night deepened further, the desert's palette shifted subtly. The golds and reds of daytime became soft grays, muted blues, and the faint silver of moonlight. Dunes faded into gentle silhouettes, and the horizon blurred into infinity. Shadows intertwined with starlight, creating an almost dreamlike landscape where time seemed suspended and the desert itself appeared eternal. In this soft, quiet world, the imagination could move freely, drifting along ridges and valleys, across hidden roads and forgotten settlements, without urgency, without distraction, just carried by the rhythm of wind, sand, and sky. The Milky Way, stretching in calm grandeur above, became a ribbon of light to follow with the mind's eye. One could imagine traveling along it slowly, as though drifting above the desert, watching the earth from a gentle height, seeing the eye of Africa in its full breadth, and sensing the subtle pulse of the land. It was a perspective both serene and humbling, reminding the mind of the patient rhythms of the natural world and the timeless, enduring beauty of the Sahara. Within this quiet night, the mind could wander into soft meditation. Thoughts of the day, of the world elsewhere, gently faded, leaving only the steady presence of the desert, the whispering wind, the cool air, and the calm shimmer of stars. The imagination could trace imagined paths through lost settlements, follow circular ridges of the eye, and drift across the broad expanse of sand, all in perfect harmony with the rhythm of the night. Each imagined step became part of the desert's quiet story, each mental image a soft echo of the land's patient memory. Even the smallest details contributed to the serene atmosphere. The faint glitter of mineral flecks in the sand, the way the wind shaped small ripples. On the surface of dunes, the soft hum of temperature changes as night air replaced the lingering heat of day. Everything was subtle, unhurried, and perfectly suited to gentle contemplation. The desert invited observation, but more than that, it invited reflection, a slow, meditative journey across both land and imagination. With each breath, one could feel the desert's vastness and stillness settling gently into the soul, carrying away tension and leaving only calm, reflective wonder. In this serene nocturnal landscape, the Sahara became more than a desert. It was a living meditation, a timeless space where imagination could roam slowly, tracing lost civilizations, wandering along circular ridges, and drifting beneath the quiet rhythm of the stars. And so, as the desert night held sway, with wind, sand, and starlight in harmonious rhythm, the eye of Africa lay quietly in the heart of the land, offering both mystery and meditation. Small fragments of stone, worn and rounded by centuries of exposure, lay scattered quietly, whispering stories to those who moved slowly, observing with patient attention. And sensing the patient care with which such items had once been made. In the imagination, one could envision the careful placement of stones, their edges aligned with subtle precision, as though builders had taken guidance not only from need, but from the natural rhythms of the land. Between these small structures, faint depressions in the sand might mark paths or roads, once worn by the footsteps of daily life, now softened by time, yet still perceptible to the patient observer. Some stones might bear delicate incisions or grooves, traces of tools used for shaping, cutting, or engraving. These small details, easy to overlook, invited slow, mindful attention. The mind could drift gently across each line and curve, imagining the hands that carved them, the quiet focus of a person working long ago, and the unhurried rhythms of life in a landscape so vast and enduring. Even in imagined touch, the cool texture of stone, worn smooth by wind and human use, carried a sense of calm continuity, a soft connection between past and present. Patterns in the sand revealed themselves slowly to the attentive eye. Subtle lines, barely perceptible, might mark ancient roads, pathways winding between settlements, or gentle terraces used for cultivation. Each curve, each indentation, was softened by the desert wind, but still present, a quiet record of intention and care. Imagining walking along these faint routes, one could feel the rhythm of the land beneath imagined feet, moving in harmony with the gentle slopes and valleys, tracing a journey that had been made countless times in centuries past. Occasionally, one could envision clusters of stone aligned in ways that suggested deliberate design: a circle, a rectangle, or an arrangement that mirrored the concentric patterns of the Eye of Africa itself. These formations, softened by time, invited reflection rather than analysis, encouraging the mind to explore possibilities slowly and peacefully. Perhaps they were dwellings, ceremonial spaces, or markers of paths. Perhaps they were reminders of rituals long forgotten, now resting quietly beneath the sands. Small tools might lie nearby, partially buried: a scraper, a hand axe, or a fragment of a chisel. Even these simple objects carried a sense of calm storytelling, suggesting daily life, creativity, and survival. One could imagine the quiet concentration of someone shaping stone, the rhythmic motion of hands working steadily, and the soft satisfaction of creating something useful or beautiful. In this slow, meditative reflection, the mind could drift with the imagined maker, moving alongside them in quiet harmony with the desert, observing rather than judging, feeling rather than concluding, in hidden clearings between ridges or near shallow depressions. The faint outlines of larger structures emerged slowly under the imagination's gaze. Walls of stone, now low and softened by wind, suggested communal spaces or protective enclosures. Courtyards and open spaces might have once held gatherings, shared meals, or quiet reflection, their presence now a gentle imprint in the sand. The desert allowed these forms to exist quietly, inviting observation with a calm, contemplative mind, and providing space for imagination to move at its own gentle pace. Patterns etched by human hands could also be found in circular arrangements, echoing the concentric rings of the Eye of Africa. The repetition of curves, circles, and arcs in these imagined ruins created a rhythm that mirrored the larger landscape, reinforcing the sense of harmony between people and land. One could imagine pausing at these sites, tracing the curves of the walls with imagined fingertips, feeling the smooth stone beneath the hands of centuries, and sensing the quiet continuity of intention, care, and observation that had gone into each construction. Even the smallest depressions in the sand offered stories, where grains had shifted to reveal subtle impressions of tools, footprints, or arrangements of objects. These minor details were not commanding, but they spoke softly, a gentle invitation to slow down, to observe carefully, and to allow the mind to wander along imagined paths of discovery. Each detail added to a tapestry of quiet wonder, a meditative journey across space and time that was both serene and immersive. The desert wind continued its slow, soothing work, brushing across ridges and hollows, softening the edges of stones and patterns, carrying with it the faint scent of the earth beneath. This movement was not abrupt or intrusive, but a gentle accompaniment, blending seamlessly with the imagination's drift across ruins and artifacts. Shadows lengthened in soft gradients, emphasizing curves and textures, highlighting patterns that might otherwise have been missed. Everything in the landscape invited slow, deliberate observation, a rhythm that encouraged patience, reflection, and calm. As night approached, the imagined ruins took on an even more meditative quality. The soft, cool air brushed across the imagined fingertips of the mind's eye, and the desert's vast stillness provided a gentle backdrop to exploration. Shadows lengthened across stone foundations, the faint glimmer of moonlight caught on scattered artifacts, and patterns in the sand became more pronounced in the contrast of darkness and soft illumination. Every imagined step became a moment of quiet reflection, a gentle meditation on the persistence of human life, the patience of the land, and the enduring rhythm of the Sahara. This calm, reflective attention could extend to every imagined detail, the precise curves of a stone wall, the slight incline of a worn pathway, the gentle slope of a valley hidden beneath shifting sands. Each aspect of the landscape invited observation, yet demanded no urgency, allowing the mind to drift gently, connecting with the slow pulse of history and the quiet majesty of the desert. In this way, ruins and tools became a meditation, a lullaby of human presence quietly resting beneath an eternal sky. By drifting slowly through imagined artifacts, stone remnants, and faint patterns, the mind begins to sense the deeper rhythms of the Sahara. It is a landscape that encourages calm curiosity, reflection, and gentle wonder. Every imagined discovery becomes a soft echo of lives long gone, each pattern a note in the quiet symphony of the desert, guiding the mind into meditative observation. In this serene exploration, the desert becomes more than land, it becomes a companion, a gentle guide, and a space for imagination to drift freely, comfortably, and peacefully across time and memory. And so, as the night continues its slow descent, the mind can rest in the soft presence of ancient tools, hidden ruins, and subtle patterns in the sand. The Eye of Africa lies quietly at the center of this imagined world, its concentric rings a steady rhythm to follow, while the desert wind whispers softly across ridges and valleys. Every imagined step, every imagined touch, every subtle curve of stone or sand carries the mind deeper into calm reflection, gentle curiosity, and serene awareness of a landscape both timeless and meditative. Beneath the endless expanse of sand and stone, the Sahara has long inspired quiet speculation, gentle curiosity, and slow reflection. Its vastness, seemingly timeless and unbroken, invites the imagination to wander into the possibilities of lost knowledge and civilizations that may have existed before recorded history. In this soft, meditative space, one can imagine societies whose wisdom was carefully aligned with the rhythms of the land, the patterns of the stars, and the flow of water through valleys long vanished beneath the dunes. These are not urgent questions, nor do they demand answers. Instead, they provide a gentle canvas for contemplation, a place where the mind can drift slowly, like the wind across the desert. The Eye of Africa itself becomes a quiet center for such speculation. Its concentric rings, vast and harmonious, suggest deliberate design, a formation that invites reflection on intention, geometry, and pattern. Could it have been more than a natural formation? Could ancient people have perceived these curves from high vantage points, tracing their settlements, roads, or ceremonial spaces to echo the rhythms of the land? Perhaps the patterns inspired knowledge of geometry, astronomy, or the passage of time, passed carefully from generation to generation. Imagining such a civilization allows the mind to explore ideas slowly, savoring the sense of mystery without pressing for proof. Some theorists have suggested that beneath the sands there may have been cities or networks of settlements lost to shifting dunes carrying knowledge that we can only glimpse faintly through the artifacts, stone formations, and subtle patterns we imagine today. In this reflective journey, one can picture streets and plazas aligned with the movement of the sun, circles and arcs that echo the shapes of the eye above, and structures whose placement was informed by an intimate understanding of the landscape. These gentle ideas offer the mind a meditative path, a way to explore without urgency, following the rhythms of imagination as though drifting across dunes in soft moonlight. Speculation often drifts further into the possibility of knowledge preserved in tools, carvings, or even the land itself. Small stone implements, when imagined in careful context, suggest skills, understanding, and deliberate intention. Perhaps the inhabitants of this imagined civilization observed the stars with care, tracking their paths and learning from their consistency, or mapped the cycles of rivers and rainfall to guide agriculture and travel. Every gentle idea, every soft hypothesis becomes a rhythm in a slow meditation, a way for the mind to engage with the desert without hurry, letting thought drift with the sands, across time, across centuries, and into the calm awareness of possibility. Even the faint, hidden traces of roads or pathways beneath dunes carry with them quiet whispers of human intention. One can imagine travelers moving slowly across the desert, carrying goods, stories, and knowledge from one settlement to another. Perhaps there were ceremonial journeys, educational paths, or pilgrimages aligned with celestial events. These imagined activities, gentle and deliberate, unfold in the mind as a meditative story, where time stretches and compresses in the soft, patient rhythms of reflection. In this way, the Sahara itself becomes a teacher, showing how knowledge may endure even when structures, tools, and people vanish. The idea of advanced knowledge lost beneath the sands is not necessarily about extraordinary technology or sudden disappearance. Instead, it is a reflection on the quiet wisdom of people who understood and respected their environment. Perhaps they built in harmony with the wind and the sun, with the rise and fall of dunes, and with the hidden flow of water beneath the earth. Their knowledge could have been practical, philosophical, and spiritual, embedded in architecture, patterns, and cultural practice. Imagining this wisdom softly invites the mind to ponder not only what was, but how human ingenuity can exist in quiet alignment with nature. A rhythm that continues to whisper across the Sahara today. One can drift further, considering subtle clues in the landscape itself. The eye's concentric ridges may have served not only as a marker, but as a guide, an alignment for rituals, or a map for travelers. The curves suggest a deep understanding of space, proportion, and harmony. Perhaps structures were placed to observe the sun's movement, to reflect moonlight across ceremonial grounds, or to align with distant landmarks invisible from ground level. In this soft reflection, one need not know for certain. The very act of imagining is enough to feel the meditative calm and gentle wonder of a civilization, quietly integrated with the land. Artifacts, when imagined in context, take on a new significance. Fragments of pottery, stone tools, or worn carvings can be seen as expressions of knowledge and creativity, quietly echoing the minds that shaped them. Perhaps symbols marked certain times of year, or curves etched in stone reflected the paths of stars. Each imagined artifact becomes a quiet meditation, a soft thread linking observer with creator. Centuries apart, across the calm, patient expanse of desert. There is no urgency in this connection, only reflection, curiosity, and a gentle awareness of time's flow. Even the faintest depressions in sand, lines suggesting roads or boundaries, invite gentle thought. One can imagine these routes carrying knowledge, trade, and stories between settlements. Each journey a meditation on movement, survival, and community. The desert does not rush, and neither need the mind. The imagination drifts slowly, tracing arcs, circles, and paths, sensing the echoes of intention in the soft contours of dunes and ridges. In this way, speculation becomes a lullaby for thought, an invitation to explore without haste, and a gentle drift toward contemplation of the past. Perhaps there were centers of learning, spaces for reflection, or sites of observation where people quietly recorded the movements of sun, moon, and stars. Their knowledge may have been subtle, embedded in patterns of living, aligned with the natural world, and deeply harmonious. One can imagine walking through these imagined spaces, slowly touching smooth stones, pausing to observe patterns in the land, and feeling a soft connection to wisdom passed down gently, quietly, and intentionally over time. It is a meditation in itself, a slow journey across history that soothes the mind and encourages gentle wonder. Even in the absence of certainty, the Sahara whispers its enduring message. Knowledge can exist beyond immediate observation, embedded in the rhythm of land and sky, in patterns we may not yet fully understand, and in artifacts that remain hidden beneath sands. The desert's patient presence invites the mind to slow down, to follow imagined paths across ridges and valleys, to trace circular patterns in the earth, and to drift gently into reflection on civilizations long vanished, yet quietly enduring in memory, imagination, and possibility. As night falls over this imagined landscape, the desert glows softly under the stars. The Milky Way stretches overhead, echoing the circular patterns of the eye below. Shadows lengthen across imagined ruins, and the cool, still air invites calm meditation. The mind drifts, gently following the curves of ridges, tracing the faint outlines of settlements, and pausing to sense the wisdom, intention, and quiet knowledge that may lie beneath the sands. This is a place of serene speculation, where ideas of lost civilizations and forgotten wisdom become a gentle journey, a lullaby for curiosity, and a soft, sleep-inducing meditation on time, the earth, and the enduring rhythm of life. In this calm reflection, the Sahara becomes both teacher and companion, guiding the mind slowly across the desert, along the concentric curves of the eye, past imagined roads and settlements, and into the quiet wonder of lost knowledge. Every imagined step, every soft observation, every gentle hypothesis carries the mind deeper into meditation, curiosity, and restful awareness. The sands and stars, artifacts and ridges, all come together in a harmonious rhythm, inviting the listener to drift, explore, and rest in the timeless, serene majesty of the desert. As the desert night deepened, the mind could drift gently into dreams, soft visions of times long past beneath the vast, starlit sky. Imagine, for a moment, that you are not merely observing the sands from above, but walking slowly among the people who once called this land home. The air is cool, carrying faint scents of earth and stone, of herbs that might have grown near oasis pools, and of fires burning quietly in distant settlements. Every sound is muted, measured, and gentle, the soft rhythm of life, moving in harmony with the land. In these imagined dreams, the eye of Africa rises subtly in the distance, its concentric ridges guiding the eye and inspiring thought. You might wander along the outer rings, stepping lightly on the soft sand, feeling the gentle undulations beneath your feet. Along these paths, faint structures emerge, low stone walls, circular foundations, and tiny courtyards where people move quietly, engaged in the ordinary yet profound tasks of daily life. The scene unfolds slowly, like a soft breath across the desert, inviting reflection rather than action. People move deliberately, their gestures measured and calm. You see them shaping tools from stone, tending small fires, carrying water from distant wells, or arranging simple offerings within the circular enclosures of ritual spaces. Their faces are serene, their attention focused, and every motion carries purpose, yet is gentle, unhurried. You drift alongside them, an observer who does not intrude, feeling the rhythm of their lives as a quiet, soothing cadence. perfectly aligned with the slow pulse of the desert around them. In another part of this imagined world, a small gathering might form beneath the gentle curve of a ridge. People sit or stand in a loose circle, tracing patterns in the sand with fingers, stones, or simple tools. Perhaps they are recording stories, mapping the stars, or simply sharing knowledge in soft, whispered tones. The Milky Way stretches across the sky above them, a ribbon of ancient light reflected in their calm faces. You sense that their awareness of the stars is precise, patient, and intimate, as though each movement of night and moon, each rising and setting, carries meaning to be observed and understood. A young child might wander along a sandy path, pausing to examine a small stone or a petal carried by the wind. Their curiosity is gentle, careful, and unhurried, reflecting a culture that values observation, patience, and harmony. The surrounding adults notice but do not interfere, letting the child explore freely, allowing imagination and quiet wonder to guide the steps. In this dreamlike reflection, you feel the soft continuity of knowledge, passed down quietly, without hurry, across generations. Evening tasks continue in muted rhythms. Fires flicker softly in small hearths, casting warm light across stone walls and sand, illuminating faces in golden hues. Someone bends to shape a tool, while another arranges a circle of stones that may mark a ritual or a communal activity. In the distance, a low call of an animal echoes faintly, blending with the wind and the whispering sands. Every sound, every movement, is part of a meditative rhythm, a gentle story unfolding slowly and deliberately, inviting the observer to drift in thought alongside the lives of those who once inhabited this vast, quiet land. As the dream unfolds, imagine pausing near a shallow pool or hidden spring. The water reflects the starlit sky, mirroring constellations that have remained unchanged across centuries. People gather near the water's edge, some drawing water carefully into vessels, others pausing to contemplate the mirrored heavens above. The scene is serene, meditative, almost timeless, a soft lullaby of life, moving in harmony with nature. The Eye of Africa looms gently nearby, its rings a subtle reminder of structure, rhythm, and alignment within the landscape. The desert itself seems alive with quiet consciousness. Soft ripples of wind move across dunes, carrying tiny grains of sand in slow, deliberate dances. Shadows shift gradually, elongating and contracting as moonlight passes over ridges and hollows. Even in stillness, the land breathes with a calm rhythm that mirrors the lives of its ancient inhabitants. As you observe, you might sense a gentle connection between people, and place a harmonious awareness of the land's patterns, its hidden waterways, and the subtle pulses of natural cycles. In another moment of dreamlike reflection, imagine a group moving along a faint path, carrying goods, stories, and knowledge. The route is slow, deliberate, and safe, meandering along ridges and shallow valleys. Their passage leaves subtle impressions in the sand, marks that might be erased by wind over time, yet remain vivid in the mind's eye. Every step carries purpose, yet is calm and meditative, echoing the quiet rhythm of the desert itself. The mind drifts with them, tracing the path without urgency, absorbing the gentle harmony of movement across the timeless sands. Perhaps there are moments of quiet celebration or reflection. People gather beneath natural arches or circular formations of stone, arranging simple markers or observing the passage of the moon. Their conversations are soft, reflective, and harmonious, echoing the slow pulse of life in the desert. You watch and listen, absorbing the tranquility, feeling the rhythm of ancient days, and sensing the enduring presence of knowledge carried gently through generations. In the cool night air, the imagined world continues to unfold. Children rest near hearths, adults shape tools and weave baskets, elders trace subtle patterns in sand or stone, all within a framework of gentle order and patient harmony. The land itself seems to respond to their presence, echoing their rhythm with the soft movement of dunes, the whisper of wind, and the faint twinkle of distant stars. Time feels fluid, suspended, a gentle meditation on the enduring relationship between people, place, and the sky above. Even small, quiet moments are full of depth. A hand brushes against a stone wall, feeling the smooth surface shaped by countless touches. Footsteps in soft sand leave faint impressions that will vanish with the next wind, yet persist in imagination. Each gesture, each movement, contributes to a meditative rhythm that encourages calm reflection. You drift slowly through these moments, observing, sensing, and absorbing the gentle story without hurry or expectation, letting the desert and its people guide a slow, dreamlike journey. In this quiet reverie, the Eye of Africa serves as both landmark and guide. Its concentric rings, vast and patient, suggest harmony, balance, and subtle order. As you drift through imagined settlements, along faint roads, and across soft ridges, the eye becomes a gentle center of meditation, anchoring thoughts in the serene rhythms of the land. The desert night and the starlit sky complement one another, creating a landscape that encourages gentle exploration, reflection, and the slow unfolding of wonder. As the dream continues, imagine sitting quietly on a ridge, observing distant fires, small movements, and the slow patterns of life. The cool air brushes the skin, carrying scents of sand, stone, and faint desert flora. Above, the Milky Way stretches across the sky, each star a soft point of light, guiding the mind along circular paths in sand, across ridges, and into the heart of the eye itself. The scene is calm, meditative, and hypnotic, a lullaby of land, life, and sky, gently encouraging rest, reflection, and peace. In this moment, time feels suspended. The desert, the ancient inhabitants, and the quiet observer, yourself, exist in harmony, each movement measured, each sound gentle, each shadow soft. The Eye of Africa remains at the center, a silent witness to centuries, its concentric rings echoing the rhythms of both land and imagination. You feel a soft connection to the continuity of life, knowledge, and presence, drifting slowly with the wind across sand and under the eternal starlit sky. Here, in the calm embrace of desert dreams, the mind is free to wander, to explore, and to rest. Ancient lives, hidden roads, and subtle artifacts all become part of a slow, meditative journey. The imagination drifts gently across time and space, guided by soft patterns, harmonious rhythms, and the quiet pulse of the Sahara. Every step, every observation, every imagined touch carries the mind deeper into restful wonder, reflection, and the serene embrace of the desert night. Beneath the ever-shifting dunes of the Sahara, the land keeps secrets that have slumbered for centuries. The sand, warm and soft, drifts silently in the cool night air, covering valleys, ridges, and subtle impressions left by time and nature. To an observer, the desert may appear empty, serene, and unchanging. Yet, beneath its surface, lies a quiet complexity, a hidden world of possibilities waiting to be imagined. The gentle sweep of wind carries grains across ancient paths, softly smoothing and reshaping the landscape, as if to conceal and yet reveal the stories beneath. One might imagine faint impressions of roads hidden beneath layers of sand, guiding people who moved carefully across this vast expanse. These paths, worn by centuries of footsteps and carts, now lie nearly invisible, yet their subtle contours persist, suggesting direction and purpose. In the mind's eye, it is possible to follow them slowly, tracing curves and bends, pausing at imagined intersections, and feeling the soft rhythm of movement across a landscape that has witnessed countless journeys. Each line in the sand is a whisper from the past, an echo of intention, inviting gentle curiosity. Perhaps there are buried dwellings, foundations of homes and communal spaces, their shapes hidden beneath folds of sand. Stones carefully placed, walls once upright, now softened by time, may lie in delicate patterns just beneath the surface. The imagination can drift across these hidden ruins, noticing the faint curves of rooms, the suggestion of courtyards, and the subtle arcs that mirror the concentric rings of the Eye of Africa above. In this exploration, the mind moves slowly and freely, resting on each imagined detail without urgency, discovering the faint footprints of civilization beneath the sands. Small artifacts may lie quietly beneath dunes, waiting for discovery by those who move slowly and observe gently. Pieces of pottery, fragments of tools, or the faint imprint of carved symbols could rest in layers of sand, touched by centuries of wind and time. Their presence is soft, inviting imagination rather than demanding attention, allowing one to envision the hands that shaped them, the careful motions of creation, and the quiet lives that unfolded around them. Each imagined object becomes a connection across time, a gentle meditation on continuity, ingenuity, and patient observation. Occasionally, one can picture faint circular formations beneath the sands, echoes of ritual spaces or communal gatherings. The lines, once precise, have softened under centuries of drift, yet their rhythm remains visible to a patient imagination. Imagining these spaces encourages a slow, contemplative journey through the hidden past, a meditation on patterns, intention, and human presence that once intertwined seamlessly with the landscape. Waterways, long vanished or now invisible beneath layers of sediment, may have guided settlement and travel. Small channels, gentle depressions, or the suggestion of irrigation could still lie beneath the dunes, hints of ingenuity. In the mind's eye, one can follow these hidden lines, imagining the flow of water, nourishing crops, animals, and communities, each movement deliberate and calm, aligned with the rhythms of nature. Even the softest impressions in the sand-curved ridges, depressions, or subtle markscan carry quiet stories. Footprints of animals or people long gone, the shift of stone tools buried just beneath the surface, or the faint outline of an ancient wall, all suggest lives that moved with intention and care. Observing these imagined traces encourages a slow, meditative state where curiosity unfolds gently, and each detail is absorbed in harmony with the landscape's natural rhythm. The desert itself seems to breathe, each ripple of sand a quiet reminder of time's patience. One can drift further into speculation, imagining that beneath certain ridges, networks of roads and dwellings extend far beyond immediate observation. Some may lead to hidden oases, others to ceremonial sites or storage areas where communities preserved knowledge and resources. These spaces, imagined yet plausible, carry the calm rhythm of careful design, structured for harmony rather than haste. Each imagined detail provides a gentle sense of continuity, a connection across centuries. Buried stones may bear marks of tools or subtle carvings. Even if worn smooth by wind and time, the mind can imagine their patterns, the careful attention of their creators, and the gentle purpose behind each incision. Perhaps a curved line indicates the rising sun, a small cross, a point of reference for travelers, or a faint spiral, a record of celestial observation. In this slow reflection, one appreciates the soft intelligence embedded in the landscape, a quiet sophistication revealed only to patience, observation, and imagination. The eye of Africa itself hints at hidden knowledge beneath the dunes. Its concentric circles, visible from above, may mirror what lies below: foundations, paths, or ceremonial sites arranged with deliberate symmetry. Imagining the underground world in soft detail, one can trace imagined tunnels or corridors, follow roads beneath buried dunes, and sense the quiet presence of communities once aligned with the land's natural geometry. The desert remains calm, patient, and undisturbed, allowing the mind to wander freely in this serene exploration. Even in stillness, the desert offers motion. Small ripples shift under the moonlight, fine grains fall slowly over imagined artifacts, and faint shadows lengthen across dunes. This movement is gentle and soothing, a lullaby of subtle change that encourages calm observation. The mind floats with this rhythm, tracing patterns and imagining hidden layers, drifting deeper into meditation and reflection. Each imagined discovery and artifact, a pathway, a buried walrus, absorbed slowly, without rush, and becomes part of the desert's enduring story. Softly, one may envision the faint outlines of structures aligned with celestial patterns. Buildings or ceremonial spaces may have been positioned to capture light at certain times of year, to align with stars, or to provide guidance to travelers. These possibilities unfold gently in the imagination, offering a slow, reflective journey across both land and mind. The desert becomes a space for thought, wonder, and quiet curiosity, where secrets are not demanded but revealed softly through attentive reflection. The Eye of Africa rests calmly at the center, a guiding structure above the layers of hidden knowledge. In this space, curiosity can wander gently, exploring the faint traces of civilizations, imagining tools, paths. Every imagined secret, every buried fragment, contributes to a serene tapestry of discovery. The desert invites slow attention, gentle exploration, and the soft unfolding of wonder. It is a landscape that teaches patience, observation, and quiet reflection, allowing the mind to drift effortlessly through time, beneath sand and beneath stars. And so, as the wind brushes across the dunes, as moonlight softens the curves of ridges, and as the mind drifts among imagined artifacts and buried ruins, the desert whispers a lullaby. Secrets lie beneath the sands, waiting to be gently imagined, softly explored, and quietly appreciated. The Eye of Africa watches over it all, concentric rings echoing the pulse of history and the gentle rhythm of thought. In this calm, meditative landscape, curiosity flows slowly, imagination drifts freely, and the mind is invited to rest, to wonder, and to float in serene reflection under the starlit Sahara. Over the vast expanse of the Sahara, human curiosity has long sought to uncover its hidden truths. Moving slowly and carefully across shifting sands, guided by both observation and imagination. For centuries, explorers ventured into the desert, following faint paths, tracking the contours of dunes, and noting subtle impressions in stone or sand that hinted at past life. Each journey unfolded deliberately, with quiet attention to the environment, a rhythm of observation that mirrored the patient pulse of the desert itself. The Sahara did not hurry, and neither did those who walked upon it, allowing every step to carry meaning, every glance to capture the soft, intricate details of a landscape that had remained largely unchanged for millennia. In more recent times, scientific inquiry and satellite technology have expanded the horizons of discovery. Satellite imagery transforms the desert into a vast canvas where lines, curves, explorers would pause to measure distances, trace stone alignments, or note patterns that suggested human activity. Each observation became a meditation, a lullaby of discovery that combined meticulous attention with the gentle flow of wonder and awe at the desert's patient presence. From this vantage, the eye of Africa's concentric circles appeared not just as a geological marvel, but as a guide, echoing subtle patterns beneath the sand. Linear depressions, faint terraces, and irregular clusters hinted at human intervention, suggesting that beneath the desert's surface, hidden knowledge awaited gentle imagination. Wind-sculpted dunes, weathered stones, and subtle depressions were treated not as obstacles, but as guides, offering insight into the quiet rhythm of human activity and natural formation. Faint signs of ancient activity, when imagined in context, open a window into civilizations long gone. Each step becomes a meditation, every observation a gentle conversation with history, land, and sky. In softer moments, one can imagine discoveries beneath the dunes themselves. Subtle shadows hint at buried walls, faint depressions suggest hidden roads, and scattered stones may mark ceremonial sites long forgotten. Satellite imagery and ground exploration together reveal patterns that suggest harmony, rhythm, and intention. Yet the desert remains calm, preserving its mysteries while inviting reflection, encouraging the mind to wander slowly, drift gently, and marvel at the quiet continuity of the landscape. Even the explorer's tools and methods contribute to this gentle meditation. Compasses, measuring rods, cameras, and remote sensing equipment become instruments not of urgency, but of attentive care, allowing scientists to perceive subtle patterns and hidden structures without disturbing the desert's patient order. Observation is deliberate. Every note, photograph, and measurement an act of reflection and awe, a means of listening to the desert's soft story rather than forcing it into immediate comprehension. The combined perspective of past and present exploration reveals a tapestry of quiet discovery. Imagine following a faint path with careful footsteps, pausing to examine a stone, then rising to view the same ridge from above through satellite data. The harmony between these perspectives evokes gentle wonder, connecting imagination with observation, past with present, and curiosity with calm reflection. Each moment is an invitation to slow the mind, breathe with the rhythm of the desert, and appreciate the scope of both human endeavor and natural majesty. Throughout these explorations, the desert maintains its patient stillness. Wind shifts grains subtly, light glances across ridges and depressions, and the eye of Africa's rings echo patterns, both natural and potentially human-made. Every discovery, whether visible on the surface or suggested beneath layers of sand, carries a sense of quiet continuity, a reminder that time in the desert flows gently, leaving traces for those who move with patience, attention, and imagination. The starlit sky above complements these reflections. Milky Way's soft arc stretches across the heavens, mirroring the circular formations below. The desert seems to inhale with each shift of wind, exhaling gentle ripples across sand and stone. In this calm landscape, the mind floats alongside explorers, tracing paths, imagining artifacts, and sensing the continuity of knowledge and life. The desert's secrets are not hurriedly revealed. They unfold slowly, deliberately, and beautifully for those who observe without rush, who imagine without demand, and who marvel at the gentle complexity of this timeless land. And so, as the night drifts on, the Sahara remains both vast and intimate. Discoveries and exploration, whether by satellite or careful footsteps, reveal not only hidden patterns and traces, but also a quiet invitation to wonder, reflect, and rest. The eye of Africa watches over it all, concentric rings, a gentle rhythm guiding the mind across dunes, valleys, and hidden sites. In this serene narrative of observation and imagination, the desert teaches patience, curiosity, and awe, inviting the mind to drift slowly, to reflect gently, and to rest under the calm, starlit sky. The Sahara is a vast archive of time, each dune, ridge, and stone quietly recording the slow passage of ages. The earth itself holds memory in layers. Beneath every shifting dune lies a story, faint yet enduring, told through subtle contours, the texture of stone, and the remnants of ancient watercourses. One can imagine standing quietly in this expanse, feeling the gentle pulse of time beneath one's feet, and sensing the slow, steady rhythm of a world that observes and remembers without hurry. Erosion is one of the Sahara's most patient storytellers. Rocks are worn by wind and temperature, edges softened and surfaces smoothed, leaving gentle arcs and subtle textures. There is no rush, no urgency, only the slow, deliberate dance of elements, reminding the observer of the calm continuity of the earth. In these subtle channels, the earth seems to remember the touch of water, the passage of travelers, the slow growth of vegetation, and the quiet interplay between life and land. One can also sense the imprint of tectonic movement, the slow rise and fall of the landscape, shaping ridges and valleys, and guiding the flow of wind and water over countless years. Each layer of rock, each subtle depression, is a trace of processes too vast for immediate perception, yet deeply tangible in their quiet resonance. Tiny impressions of shells, plants, and other remnants hint at ecosystems long vanished, yet they persist in delicate detail for those who observe attentively. Each formation carries information about the past, not as a loud proclamation, but as a soft, patient whisper for those willing to observe slowly, breathe deeply, and reflect gently. Even the desert floor, with its ever-shifting sand, tells a story. Dunes form, grow, and fade with measured patience, guided by wind, gravity, and subtle changes in moisture. In this movement, the earth enacts a quiet dance, erasing some traces while preserving others, balancing change with continuity. Observing this rhythm encourages a meditative awareness. Life, like sand, shifts gradually, leaving behind impressions, patterns, and subtle memories. One can imagine walking along a ridge, feeling the soft, granular texture beneath one's feet, sensing the land's slow heartbeat, and drifting in contemplation of time's gentle flow. Subtle variations in color and texture also mark the passage of epochs. Layers of rock, sediment, and mineral deposits shift from ochre to rust, from soft beige to deep gray, tracing cycles of climate, water, and geological activity. These variations are not abrupt. They flow gradually, guiding the eye and the mind along a slow narrative, encouraging reflection rather than analysis. In their continuity, the earth reminds the observer of the calm persistence of time, the patient layering of experience, and the enduring beauty of natural processes unfolding across millennia. Even in imagined human history, the Sahara carries quiet records. Paths, foundations, and tools may be faintly preserved beneath sand, their shapes softened by wind and erosion. Imagining these traces invites slow, deliberate reflection. A meditation on the relationship between human life and the patient, enduring memory of the earth. Each step, each imagined impression, becomes part of a continuum, a gentle conversation between past and present, land and mind. The concept of memory in the earth extends beyond tangible remnants. Rocks, dunes, and ridges encode patterns of wind, rainfall, and climate, forming a subtle archive of environmental history. Satellites and explorers, moving slowly across these landscapes, uncover hints of what has passed. Yet the land preserves much in quiet secrecy. In reflection, one senses the Sahara as a living repository, a vast, patient presence that holds stories without demand, offering them gently to the attentive mind willing to drift, observe, and imagine. Each layer speaks softly of formation, erosion, and enduring symmetry, linking human imagination with natural processes. Each detail can become a focus of quiet awareness, guiding thought along gentle paths of reflection, imagination, and calm curiosity. The desert encourages the mind to slow, to breathe, and to observe the delicate interplay between change and persistence, erosion and preservation. Time in the Sahara is both expansive and intimate. The vast scales of millennia coexist with the microcosm of shifting grains of sand, wind-carved stones, and faint human traces. The mind, moving slowly, aligns with the rhythm of the land, finding rest and meditation in the continuity of change, the subtle persistence of memory, and the patient unfolding of Earth's story. In quiet reflection, one may imagine standing atop a ridge overlooking the Eye of Africa, the rings tracing circles across the sands, shadows lengthening under the starlit sky. The cool night air carries whispers of wind across dunes, faint and soothing. In this stillness, time feels suspended, yet deeply present. The earth holds its memory in each contour, grain and stone, inviting the mind to drift gently across eons, to trace imagined pathways, and to rest in the calm assurance of enduring presence. And so, as night deepens, the desert continues its slow, deliberate rhythm. Erosion, sedimentation, and the layering of stone act together as a quiet archive, preserving traces of life, water, wind, and human activity. In this meditative space, imagination drifts freely, tracing subtle contours, imagining buried civilizations, and sensing the gentle pulse of time beneath sand and stone. The Sahara becomes both a teacher and a companion, guiding thought softly, encouraging reflection, and offering a lullaby of memory, continuity, and calm. The Eye of Africa rests quietly in the heart of the Sahara, a vast circular formation that has long captured human imagination. Its concentric rings, broad and precise, rise gently from the desert floor, inviting slow reflection on pattern, symmetry, and the subtle interplay between land and sky. From afar, it appears almost like a ripple frozen in time, a concentric echo of natural processes. Yet its beauty and scale have drawn minds toward speculation, curiosity, and contemplation for decades. There is something inherently soothing in circles complete, harmonious, and unending end. The eye embodies this quietly, offering both a visual and meditative anchor for thought. Human fascination with circular forms seems almost universal. From stone circles and ceremonial plazas to the wheels of simple tools and the cycles of the sun and moon, circles carry a sense of wholeness, continuity, and quiet order. Observing the eye, one might imagine ancient people recognizing these same qualities, aligning settlements, paths, or rituals to echo the rhythm of the land, or tracing the curves as a reflection of cosmic order. In this way, the desert itself becomes a teacher, gently suggesting ideas of harmony and proportion to those who move slowly and attentively through its expanse. The idea of lost civilizations beneath the sands continues to inspire soft curiosity. Though certainty is elusive, the imagination drifts easily across possible traces, buried dwellings, hidden roads, and tools that may have once shaped daily life. There is also a cosmic dimension to this fascination. The Sahara's starlit skies stretch endlessly above, echoing the shapes and rhythms of the earth below. Ancient peoples may have observed these connections, finding inspiration in the harmony of land and sky, and using it to structure knowledge, ritual, and movement. Imagining this alignment fosters calm reflection, a gentle acknowledgement of human connection to the universe. Speculation about lost knowledge, advanced understanding, or forgotten civilizations beneath the desert sands moves the mind slowly, like wind tracing gentle patterns across dunes. What tools, skills, or insights may have existed? How might early observers have interpreted the movements of stars or the flow of water? These questions are not urgent. They float in soft meditation, inviting curiosity rather than demanding answers. The eye of Africa, silent and patient, becomes a focal point for this gentle wonder, anchoring the imagination as it drifts across layers of time, land, and thought. Even subtle human traces can evoke a profound sense of connection. A faint path, a buried stone wall, or a fragment of pottery can remind the observer that people have moved across these sands for centuries, observing, learning, and leaving quiet marks of their existence. In meditation, these fragments become more than artifacts. They are touch points between imagination and history, offering a slow, reflective bridge across time. The eye itself provides a soft context, concentric rings, aligning the mind with the rhythms of the land, echoing cycles that extend far beyond human life. The natural world and human imagination have a unique dialogue in such landscapes. Dunes shift imperceptibly, winds carve subtle arcs, and rocks weather in gentle patterns, all of which may inspire observation, creativity, and understanding. The Eye of Africa becomes a stage for this interplay, its curves echoing patterns found in daily life, in ritual, and in contemplation. Imagining this dynamic fosters calm wonder, as if standing at the center of a vast meditation, where land, time, and thought move together slowly, harmoniously, and without haste. The allure of mystery also enriches this reflection. Hidden layers beneath sand, possible remnants of past civilizations. The mind drifts softly through these possibilities, tracing imagined roads, foundations, and ceremonial sites. Each imagined detail reinforces a sense of connection to people long gone, to the patterns of the universe, and to the quiet beauty of discovery itself. The desert does not demand certainty, and in this patient space, the imagination is free to wander, observe, and rest in reflection. Circularity carries additional resonance. Beyond architecture and ritual, it appears in natural formations, celestial orbits, and cycles of life. The desert, in its patience, mirrors this calm approach, reinforcing the soothing quality of circular patterns in both nature and human imagination. As night falls, the starlit sky above mirrors the calm order below. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens, its arcs and curves echoing the eye's rings, and the mind is drawn into a meditative rhythm that spans Earth and cosmos. Ancient observers may have noted these alignments, finding meaning in the subtle interplay of land, stars, and human life. Imagining this connection encourages slow, thoughtful exploration of both inner and outer landscapes, fostering a sense of continuity, curiosity, and calm reverie. The Eye of Africa, in the mind's eye, serves as both a geographical anchor and a meditation on human wonder. As one drifts through this imagined landscape, each curve offers a soft path for thought, guiding attention gently across sand, stone, and the hidden traces of time. Curiosity flows naturally, unhurried, and the mind is free to explore, rest, and marvel at the continuity of land, human imagination, and the universe itself. In contemplating lost civilizations, one senses both humility and awe. The Sahara stretches endlessly, its hidden traces of human life, delicate and sparse, yet profoundly inspiring. Tools, paths, and subtle architectural hints suggest ingenuity and awareness, while the desert and sky together reflect patterns that transcend individual lives. Observing these connections slowly, with gentle attention, fosters calm reflection on our place in history, in nature, and in the cosmos's soft meditation on human curiosity, continuity, and the timeless allure of discovery. Even the faintest impressions beneath shifting dunes evoke quiet reverence. Buried stones, subtle roads, and faint foundations speak not of urgency, but of patience, care, and alignment with the land. These remnants, imagined or glimpsed through scientific observation, invite the mind to move gently across the desert, following curves and circles, tracing echoes of human thought and alignment with cosmic patterns. The eye of Africa becomes a silent guide in this meditation, a concentric anchor for imagination, wonder, and quiet reflection. As night drifts on, the desert continues its slow, deliberate rhythm. Shadows lengthen across dunes, faint ripples move beneath starlight, and the mind drifts softly through imagined connections between past and present, earth and sky. Human fascination with circles, cosmic alignment, and hidden civilizations unfolds as a gentle exploration rather than a question demanding answer. A lullaby of curiosity and awe that invites slow breathing, calm thought, and the soft surrender to wonder. In this serene contemplation, the Sahara, the eye, and the starlit sky merge into a harmonious meditation. Curves, circles, hidden traces, and cosmic reflections guide the mind through layers of time, imagination, and discovery. Human curiosity, gentle and patient, becomes part of this rhythm, a quiet acknowledgement of our connection to the universe, the land, and the enduring mystery of civilizations lost and patterns remembered. In this calm reflection, thought drifts, imagination floats, and the heart rests in the soothing majesty of the desert and its concentric, eternal eye. The desert stretches endlessly beneath you, soft and warm, a vast expanse of golden sands and gentle ridges. The night sky above is a calm, endless canvas, sprinkled with stars that shimmer softly, like quiet reminders of the universe's enduring wonder. Each breath you take is slow and deep, flowing in harmony with the wind that moves lightly across the dunes, carrying whispers of time and memory, guiding your thoughts toward rest. With every gentle exhale, feel yourself sinking a little deeper into relaxation. Let your mind follow the soft curves of the dunes, rising and falling with the rhythm of the desert itself. There is no need to hurry, no need to grasp at answers. The sands beneath and the stars above hold their secrets with patience, offering you space to float, to imagine, and to simply be. You move slowly across the landscape in your mind, your attention soft, your thoughts calm, your body releasing tension with each quiet pulse of breath. Picture the eye of Africa below, its concentric rings radiating outward like ripples in a still pond. Imagine tracing the curves gently with your eyes, letting your mind follow the patterns in slow, soothing rhythm. Each ring is a reminder of continuity, of cycles, and of the quiet passage of time. The desert does not rush, it does not demand. It simply exists, and in that existence, it offers a safe, meditative space for your mind to wander and rest. As you drift, consider the stories the sands hold. Ancient civilizations, now resting beneath layers of time, left subtle traces, paths, stones, faint echoes of human life. You may imagine walking slowly among these impressions, feeling the soft warmth of the sand beneath your feet, sensing the presence of those who came before in a calm, respectful observation. There is mystery here, yes, but it is gentle and inviting, a quiet curiosity rather than a forceful revelation. You are free to explore, drift, and reflect, moving through layers of imagination and history in perfect peace. Let your thoughts rise and fall like the desert dunes. Perhaps a cool night breeze brushes across your skin, carrying the faint scent of warm sand. The stars above trace arcs across the sky, reflecting the concentric circles of the eye below. You are part of this slow, harmonious rhythm, floating weightlessly, untethered from worry, gently cradled by the vastness of space and time. Imagine, softly, that beneath the shifting dunes lie hidden treasures of knowledge, patterns, and memories. You do not need to uncover them. Simply allow your imagination to brush against them, to sense their presence, to wonder quietly. Tools, dwellings, faint paths all are preserved patiently, waiting for attentive observation or gentle thought. In this meditative drift, you are both witness and traveler, floating above history, observing without effort, feeling a serene connection to land, time, and imagination. The desert night is alive with subtle motion. The sand ripples slowly under the touch of wind, shadows stretch and fade, and the stars shimmer with steady calm. Let your mind follow this rhythm, each movement a lullaby, each shimmer a soft note in a song of peace. The Sahara, vast and timeless, supports your mind's journey, providing gentle space to drift from thought to thought, from image to image, without urgency, without interruption. Your body relaxes further with each quiet pulse of observation, your mind floating lightly across dunes, ridges, and the soft curves of history and imagination. Above, the Milky Way stretches across the sky, echoing patterns in the earth below. Each star seems to pulse gently, in time with your breath, with the rhythm of the desert, with the quiet unfolding of time itself. Let your imagination trace the connections between sand and sky, human curiosity and cosmic order, mystery and understanding. In this gentle reflection, the boundaries between mind, land, and universe blur, leaving only calm awareness, deep relaxation, and a soft, meditative wonder. Feel yourself drifting closer to sleep, weightless and free, floating over soft dunes, guided by starlight and the concentric rhythm of the Eye of Africa below. All the mysteries of the desert, all the stories of civilizations past, all the subtle patterns of earth and sky exist quietly, gently, and invitingly. You do not need to solve, uncover, or grasp. You only need to rest, to breathe, to drift, and to allow the calm majesty of the Sahara to lull your mind into gentle sleep. Take one last, slow breath, allowing the calm, golden sands to hold you, the starry sky to soothe you, and the patient rhythm of the desert to guide your thoughts into quiet stillness. The stories, patterns, and wonders of the Sahara remain here, timeless and serene, as you drift effortlessly, embraced by the warmth of sand, the vastness of sky, and the gentle heartbeat of earth itself. Sleep now, calmly, peacefully, and fully, carried softly into the quiet,